recording now. So what we want to discuss today, let me recap it again, is about how to use table tag in HTML. So the last class we have already talked about this table tag, and we said that can use table tag to create a shopping cart page. We can use table tag to prepare a product page. We can also use table tag for the layout page. We already discussed how you can use table tag to create a cart page and the product page. So today we are going to continue with using this table for layout page. So let me open the previous code we already did now. We have it on inside this folder, Princess Perfume. So we are working on creating a website now, whereby you can be able to sell the perfume online. So that's why we create a folder here called Princess Perfume. So when I open the folder now, these are some of the HTML pages we have created. So the cart page we created is this. So let me preview the cart page so that I can see how our cart page look like here now. So this is the cart page we design here now. We can have some of the product image here, the product name, the price for product, the quantity and the total price. We assume that we are just having the two product on our page here. That is for the cart page. Another page we design last week with the table is still called product table. Here is the product table which we use to display all the product we are selling here now. You can see all our perfume product here. So we have the perfume product on this particular side here now. We have the blue moon, we have a product name, we have the product picture, we also have the price, and we also have a button called add to cart. So we use table to structure this particular page, but actually we already remove the border from this table. That's why it look like this. But the next thing we want to do now is that we want to use how to use a table to create a layout page. Now everybody, today's topic now mark the beginning of our proper HTML website, because when you are creating a website in HTML, the first thing you have to do is to prepare a layout for your website. If you don't have a layout for your website cannot be structured properly, and that website cannot be consistent. All what we have been learning before is how to use the individual HTML tag. Like for example now, how do we use a table, how do we use the image tag, how do we use the audio tag, how do we use the link tag, how do we use the header tag, how do we use the HR tag, how to use different type of the tags, what we are discussing now. But now is time for us to know that if you are creating a website, the first thing they expect the developer to do or web designer to do is to prepare a layout. It's just like when you want to build a house. First thing anybody need to do when you are building a house is to call the architecture to help you prepare the plan of how your house will look like. So the same thing now we have to do today, that when you are creating a website, the first thing to prepare the layout of every information you want to put on your website. So your layout is going to define where do you want to put the image, where do you want to put the video, where do you want to put this text A and text B. So all those information you have to prepare a layout where each of them will appear, and that's exactly what you want to do today. So let me take you let's see some sample layout page online, how the sample page look like, or how the sample layout page look like. I said HTML page layout. HTML page layout was sample now. HTML page layout was sample, so that you can see how the sample every HTML page look like. Because when you are creating a website, you must have a sample HTML page. That HTML page sample will show us where is going to be the header for your HTML, where do you want to have a footer for your HTML. So every information you want to appear on your website, they must have a structure where you want it to be. Look at this example here now. I'm open this particular page here to show one of the HTML page layout here. So this one here, I have a header section here, navigation section, the text and the content is one layout. So another one is what you can also see here too. For every website there must be a layout. Look at this one here too. This is another layout. So, and there are different type of layout depending on what type of information you want to design on your website. And that's why it's very important. So let's look at these two pages. This is the first example now. This one show a very simple layout. This layout here mean you are going to have a header section on your HTML page. You are going to have a section for navigation. So you are going to have the content for your HTML page, and there's still going to be what, a footer. This is one layout page, and there should be something like an index. Maybe you want to have some index information on this page. This is one of the sample what, HTML1 layout page here. Apart from having this one here now, you can still see some other section here again. This is another sample layout page again, whereby they have what, a left panel and the right panel and the main content and the navigation. There are some sites that also appear like this. So I think I love this one of the right and left panel here, because this layout, it depends on what you want to do. You can use the left panel for advertisement. You can use the right panel for any kind of information again, it depends. Maybe I want to show some star product. I can put star product on the left panel and the right panel, and I can make all the other product appear here. So this is another one, a sample one, page one layout. So when you want to create your website, before you need to start decide whether you are using header tag or whatever tag, you have to first prepare what, the sample what, layout. And here's another layout again here. You can see the section upper here where they have the navigation here. You can see something like what, a text box for what, for search here. You can also see another one here for maybe a general picture like video or tag. You can now see some section here that contain some of the picture for what, for the product. This is another one, layout. So all this particular one is part of what a developer need to prepare first. So I'm going to combine some of the feature we have on some of these three layouts here together for us to be able to pick our own layout. So the layout we are going to design today, I want to sketch it out for us here now, so that we can be able to have an idea of how our page layout is going to look like. So I'm starting from here by creating this section for this particular one, for this layout. So I'm going to draw something like this here now. It's going to be something like a box that I'm going to contain how I want my layout to be. Good. So I want us to have something like the top section here. This top section is going to be first part of our layout. And I want this particular top section here. We are going to put some information like address here, email here, phone number here. And at the end of the day, we are going to have something like what, a social media link on this particular section here. That's what I want us to have here. Another section I want us to have now is going to be something like this banner again here now. There will be another section, another part here. I call it should that be banner? Okay. Maybe I call this one. This one follow with what? With navigation here now. We are not going to have the navigation on this section immediately. Navigation and no, that navigation will not work. I want us to have something like the name of the site here now. Okay, so this should be the, yes, okay, that's good now. I think we are still there now. So good. So I want us to have something here that going to be the site name here now. This section is going to contain what, the name of the logo for the website you want to create, and this is going to be the site name. So that is the next, the color thickness. Okay, where's my pencil? Okay, so apart from this again, I want us to have another section for the navigation here, and this section is going to be used for what, for the banner. So this section here, I want us to use it for the banner now. The banner or anything like what, like a video. It can be banner or it can be what, the video advert for what, for our website. We put it on this section, and this section here is going to be what, the title. You get it now? And the title and the picture name. Okay, but at the same time, I can use this section up here instead of that. I can use it for the navigation too. navigation here, navigation here, and navigation here. So let me use another color. You get it now? Okay. Oh God. Let me start to draw this particular layout again. I don't like what is given to us here now. Okay, so I want to restructure this particular layout now. So now the first color is here. That's what I'm trying to redraw here again now. Okay now. So the first section here like this, I say it's going to be using for the address. This is going to be used for address. Because creating the layout, you need to be properly plan it properly. And this is going to be for the social media. The second one here, we're now using it for what? For the logo and the site name. What will be the name of the site and the logo? We are putting it here, logo for the site. And this particular place here, I'm using this remaining part here for the navigation. I'm using for navigation. So the top part here again is going to be for what? For banner. If you sorry, for banner or slider or video. We want video to appear here for the advert of the site. While this part here will be for what? For the footer. Do you get it now? And after that footer, I want something like this and go to be for the newsletter. That is it. So I want to make this one simple as possible. Now this particular part we'll be using for the product, the first initial type of product that our star product. I'm putting it on this particular center here. So let me now use this red color to divide it properly. The last part here, which I'm called circle here, will be the footer for our website. This will be the what? The footer. While the second part that follow it here now is also a red again. It's going to be for something like what? A news what? A newsletter about our what? Our perfume newsletter here now. Good. Another section here which I'm going to apply what? This blue to here now. Very good. This section here is going to be what? The product page. This is where we want to have our what? Our star perfume product here now. The best perfume, we want to have it here now. Now the next part here, which is the one I'm using the red for again, or let me use another color, purple here. This section here is going to be for what? For our what? Our video advert or navigation advert. Do you get it now? Why this particular one? The section here I'm applying this orange to, we are using it for what? For navigation and the logo. This contain the navigation for our site and the logo. So we can have the navigation for different type of the what page you want to use. We can have it here. Please, somebody that is somebody should help us mute his system here. Okay, so good. So after that again, but the upper section here, which is brown here, is where we are now using for what? For the header, top header. If you look at all the area I sketch out here, they are more than one. This one is one, the first section. This one is two, the second section. And the third section here is three. While the fourth one here is what? Is fourth section. And the next one here is what? Is the fifth one, fifth section. While here is the last one section, which is the sixth one. These are all the sections we are going to use there now. So in this case again, because of different type of information we are going to put here, that's why we need the layout here now. So this layout here is the layout all the other web pages are going to be using. So and we can create this layout by using what? Table. So each of this particular layout, we might still need to prepare how their table will look like. So to start this one now, this one here will be the table one. We are going to use the table to prepare the first section here. We are going to use table for the second section, making the second table. This will be the table 3. This will be the table what? 4. And this will be the table what? 5. And also what? Table what? Table 6. Now, for this table 1 here, we are going to make sure that what? We have about 4 different columns on this table 1 here now when we are creating using table for this. The first column here is going to be for address, second column is going to be for email, third column go to be for phone number, while the last one here we use it for social media link. It's like we are putting four different information on this particular first table. So this table is going to have something like what? One row, four columns. That's what we are having on table one, the information you want to have here. Do you get it now? But for the table two, we are going to have another one row table this time around, but we are going to have for two column initially from this table two here now. One row, two column, that is it. So but later again we are still going to divide the table two again to create another type of table right inside there. You will see it very soon. But let me start with table one and table two for this our layout. So to do that one, I can return to what? To my previous pages we have created before. I can open any of these page to start creating my layout. So I will open this about now using what? My notepad plus plus here now. So when I'm creating this particular one, this table here, this is what I will need to do. Every information I have inside this one, this body tag of our HTML, I will delete it. But another thing, I will now save this page as table layout, not as what? The about again. I will say table underscore what? Layout here now. That is it. So that means this is the area, this is the section that is going to be my what? My layout what? Section. So to create the first table, like I told you, let's use a comment so that I can understand where each layout section will start from where it end. I call this one what? The top wall. I call it what? Header. Okay, I call it okay header wall, header section, header section, header section, table one now. Very good. This is where the table one will start from. So I can now write the HTML code for table now. So table tag is what we are using, and don't forget that one. I have to close that table tag immediately here now. Good. So in this table, we say we need only one row. So I can now create what? The first row I needed, tr here. At the same time, I will close this one, tr here too. So I said this, and before I move ahead again, I need to define some property for this table simply because I said the table I needed there is going to have four column, column one, column two, column three, and column what? Four. So I will use the what? Set the property for me to see those column now. By return back what? Okay. Okay, so by returning to this section here and define the border for the table first. I set the border for table so that I can see the line around those table. I set border to 1. Okay, and at the same time the width of the table, when you are using table for the layout, the width must be 100%. It must use the width for the table 100% so that it can occupy the entire screen of the width. Now for each of the four column we have, we use TD for first column, and here we close what? TD for the first column. So here now I can now make the column to be 4 here. So by typing column 2, column 3, and column 4. Do you get it now? And I save it. Since I have the 4 column here, I can perform some tasks like what? Dividing all the 4 column in a table. Set the width for each of them. Since the width of the table is 100% here now, I can also define the column for I can define the width for each of the column so that everything will be what? 100%. So that means each of the column will now become 25%, because 25% into 4 places, that give us what? The 100%. So column 25, 25, and 25, so that all column can be equal. So once I save this particular page and I want to preview this layout now on my Chrome, you can see, but this is not show very well. The reason why is that what? I'll just only define the width for this particular table. I don't define the height. So very important that I have to specify the height for this the same table too. And to specify that height, I will return to the table word tag again and apply the height word attribute. So I can set the height of my table now to what? To 50 pixels, because that height must not be too what? Too long. So once I preview this page again, can you see this is the size of the height we needed for phone, for email, for address, for email, for phone and social media link. So I can put the information inside each of these table. By return back to what? To here now, inside the first one here, and type the word address here, like what? 112, I say what? Lagos what? Road. Okay. Haruna bus stop. That is the first address. And the second column, I say I want it to contain phone number or email. I can say info, I can say okay, sales at what? Princess perfume shop .com.ng. That's the email address now. So, and the last one again, I say here we want to put what? The phone number, which is going to be what? +234 803, okay, 403 54578. This is the phone number I want to use now. While the last section here, we say we are using it for what? Social media link. I can put the message now. Social media what? Image is what we are going to put here. So I just define some information on this header section now. So if I preview this page, you see how we want it to look like. Can you see now? So we want to put some of the information on our wall, on our website here, so that when the website loaded, we want people to see the address, we want people to see this and this. So, and this address again, I can come down here, Ikorodu, okay, let me see again whether there will be more space. Very good, that is it. You get it now. So this one is an example of how we can prepare the first section now, and that's the table 1. For the table 2, we specify here that will contain the logo and the navigation. So I can now create what? The table 2 again. But since I already have some guideline of table 1, I can copy the code for table 1 to create a table 2 now. So I copy this. I will now return to the one, to the end section here now. And paste this code. I'll change the header section here as I get to what? To logo stroke what? Okay. Logo stroke navigation what? Section now for table 2. And this will be table 2. That means this table using for logo and what? And navigation. But something I need to change now is what? Is to increase the what? The height for this table. Maybe to 100, because height must be bigger than the first one. Like how many column I say I'm going to have now? The column of this one is going to be 2 column now. One column for the what? For the, I can say 20% is going to be using for the logo, while the remaining percent is going to be using for navigation now. So this one going to be like 80%. So that all the hundreds is going to what? To be what? To be specified. So, and again, I will make sure this section where we are going to have a navigation, I want to put navigation here now. Why this is going to be for what? For the logo. So once I save this, so let me see how the table will look like again. Can you see? Very good. So put our logo here, while we put the navigation to cover the rest of this particular page here now. But one thing is this, since we already have what? The section where we have our navigation in the previous pages. So let me see our index page that have a navigation before. This is how our index page look like. The previous one we created, and this is the name we have. So we are going to put the navigation, this picture for the wall logo. We are going to put the picture on the left side there. You get it now? And you can also put the name to be beside the picture too. So where this is going to be for the navigation on this end. So first thing, let me add the word, the logo and the site name now. So there is a code for the logo which you already written before, and let me check the picture for the logo name. We call the picture logo, and this is what JPEG. Good. And we also reduce the size for that logo. So what I need to do to return to this section now, and use the image tag img and src source to specify location where the image is coming from. Our image is coming from a folder which we call images slash the name of image is called logo and extension is .jpg. I close it. So after this, I close the image tag now. We say we should specify the size for the image tag because we already use the width and height to reduce the image. If not, the image might be more bigger. If I save this particular word table layout here now and I preview it here, you will look at this section where the image want to appear. You see image is very big now. That's where the problem is. And we have to reduce this particular image. So which means that I have to return to this image here and specify the width and the height for image. Just like the way I specify the width and the height for table. I can borrow that code and put it here. Our image width must not be more than 20%. That's number one. So this time around, I can say 15% for image because I want to reduce it. Can you see again? While the height for the image must not be up to 100% again, but be very small. I say 75 pixel. Can you see again? So these are the something we need to check out for properly. Or I can come down here and use the image in pixel. But I say 75% for 75 pixel for image and 75 pixel for what? For height. This will be more better. If I want my image to be very small, to be enter this particular column, I can use the same word, the same width and the same height. So return back to this page and I refresh this. You can see now, it may now become more smaller here. That is it. So, but sometimes I may want to specify the name under the image, the name of the site under the image like this, or the name is already here. Do you get it now? So that might be okay. Do you get it now? So the next thing now is well, I can still reduce this particular navigation I have here. I can do this because this is 15% I use for the width, 20%. What if I make it 10 first? And I made this one to be 90. So this can be adjusted depending on what you think is the best properly of face. Good. That is it now. So I can now make the image to appear at the center of this particular column by applying the attribute to this TD here. Call it align equal center here now. And I close this quotation here. So if I can refresh this particular page again, you can see image appear at the center. So the second column here is where I want to put the navigation. You get it now? So to put the navigation here, this is what I will need to do. The navigation I'm going to put, there's something we need to understand here now. Navigation is going to look something like this. Let me open another page again. Navigation you want to create now, we want it to be somewhere inside here now. This is where we are. We already divided into the two columns now, and we already have a logo here. The remaining section here is for the what? Is for the navigation. So for our navigation to be properly structured, that means inside this column I circle as red, I must create another table there like this. That table will be something like this like this green color like this. It will be table of one row more than one column like this. That is how we can arrange our navigation properly beside this particular logo we already have here. That is it. This part of a layout structure. Because when you are creating a layout for your website, you might have more than one table. This one is another example of the nested table inside this column. So to create a table for this navigation here, I will return down to what? To this navigation section here. I will now create another table tag like the table I normally use before. Do you get it now? But sometimes it is also better again to have something like this particular one, comment on this section here now. The comment here go to be what? Logo. You can see now. And I also have another comment here again now. I will now call it what? Navigation. That will also explain what each of these section of this HTML page does. This will now become what? Navigation. So I can now create my navigation table inside there. So then go to be what? Table again. But that table is going to have the same attribute of the first table here, like a border and this. Only difference, a little thing is going to be there. Can you see now? So, and I must close that table here. Remember, this table is going to be used for the navigation. But this time around now, since the table I'm creating is inside this particular word, this TD, and this TD is in the table here, and the table the TD contain is 100 in height. So the table I'm going to create as a navigation must also be what? 100 in height or less than that. It cannot be more than that. I can come down here and make that table to be 50 now. For height for that table to be 50. That table for the navigation. So then I will now prepare my what? My TR for row. I need only one row in this table. So this is where the what? The TR row start. And this particular table again, I will need 5 column, which is going to be column for 5 different what? Navigation. So I create a first column here now, and I cover the 5 column. And again, don't, since I say 5 column, I must define the width for each of the column again here now. So since I'm having 5 column now, the width for each of them, the width has to be what? 20% for 5 different what? Column inside this what? The table for navigation here now. So I'll now duplicate this one to the 5. That is first one, column 2, 3, 4, and what? 5. This 5 column go to represent home page, perfume, partner, about, and what? Contact. Now I want to call up some of the navigation we already created before in this home page here. You know we have some of this navigation now. I can now pick each of these navigation one by one since I already created them from here. I'll put it inside each of the column for this table. This will be for home. I pick navigation for the second one, which is perfume here too. So I'll also add it to this. This will be for what? Perfume now. Each of them is in the table. And I'll pick for what? For the client again. And also what? Add it to that column. And this will be for client too. You get it now? And I'll pick for what? For the about us again here too. Okay? And this will be for what? For about us. And the last one is for the what? Contact us here now. Okay? And here again, I made this one to be what? Contact us. You can see again. So once I save this layout again and I preview it, you can see all the navigation we have. Can you see? These are our table here now. So each of this one, I can put it at the center of this particular word table. Oh, okay, 34 minutes. I think I should